4:25 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Bengals 9-4, 4-3 on the road at Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6-7, 4-3 at home. Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida, and it's cold in Tampa. 57 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This is going to be a fun one. We have the Bengals opening up a -3.5 at plus 100. They're now -3.5 at -109. From a total side of things, it's opened up at 42. It's now 43, and it's juiced to the over, so 43.5s are out there. Take a look at the cash flow on this one. 3,650 tickets, and 82% of the tickets, 78% of the cash on Cincinnati. 50-50 on the tickets for the total, but 90% of the cash is on the under, which is very strange to see it go up 1.5 from the opening line. Bengals come in off an impressive 23-10 home win over the Browns. You know, and you could say, what was impressive, because the offense didn't look very good. I just thought that with everything that went against them, you know, Tyler Boyd dislocating his finger on the second play of the game, T. Higgins re-injuring his hamstring in warmups, you only have Jamar Chase as a real weapon. And I thought it was a big team victory for them. You know, a comfortable team victory. I was impressed. They've won 5 straight. They've won 9 of 11, tied for the AFC North lead with Baltimore. So Jamar Chase has the lone threat, 10 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Mixon returned from his concussion. He ran 14 times for 96 yards, caught 2 for 10. Excuse me. Their defense was excellent, but they did lose Pro Bowl defensive end Trey Hendrickson. And it's strange because some people are calling it a broken wrist, but he hasn't been ruled out yet. And even Taylor said he's got a wrist issue. We'll see where it's at through the week and go from there. We'll see where it's at, but I'm not ready to rule him out. So that's, strange. He's not going to be put on the IR, so that is a good sign. The defense held the Browns to 4 of 15 on third down and just 71 rush yards. Logan Wilson was all over the field, 17 tackles and a half sack. Bengals got 2 sacks, 9 quarterback hits. Jesse Bates had an interception. Linebacker Clay Johnson left the second half with a head injury. He's in concussion protocol. Bucks coming off an ugly 35-7 loss at San Francisco. It was 28-0 at the half. They were beaten in every facet of the game. 322 total yards. They were 4 of 16 on third down. Brady 34 of 55 for 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Godwin 5 catches for 54. Evans 4 for 44. I remember when these guys were very, very dangerous receivers. They just don't seem to be anymore. Rashad White had 13 carries for 56 yards, caught 5 for 21, lost a fumble. Fournette had 4 carries for 13 yards and caught 6 for 33. Their defense couldn't stop the Niners with a third-string quarterback in. The Niners were 4 of 9 on third down, but put up 404 yards of offense. They couldn't put pressure on Purdy. 0 sacks. Did have 4 quarterback hits. Vita Vea strained his calf. He had a boot on his right foot after the game. Cornerback Zion McCollum is in concussion protocol. Cornerback Jamel Dean has a big toe injury. He said it's not considered to be serious, but he's week to week, and he's not. He left also with a boot on his left foot. He's not going to be in the lineup. And Tryon Shoyinka, hip injury, and we don't know the extent of it. We'll have a better idea at tomorrow's injury report. Obviously, you're trying to not let the biases take control, but with what we've been seeing of late, the Bengals should be able to cover this 3.5, but I'm sure it's going to be an extremely public side. What do you think here, Andy? Bengals, Buccaneers?
Bengals weren't very good last week, truthfully.
Offensively.
Yeah, offensively. And, they obviously have a very built-in excuse, and I don't even think it's a flimsy excuse. Like, who's your next best receiver after those 3? And yes, granted, Jamar Chase is a high-end top 5 receiver when he's on, but then it's a big drop-off to the guys you're throwing. Essentially, you have to throw to, Perrine and Mixon. Otherwise, it's Trenton Irwin. Like Trenton Irwin, Stanford receiver. You got a couple targets. I think Perrine and Trent Taylor got the most targets outside of the 15 times they threw to Jamar Chase. And it was just kind of an underperforming day for the Browns. The Bengals defense didn't really limit them as much as the Browns limited themselves. They were bad on third down. They turned the ball over 3 times on fourth down. They had more plays. They nearly had more yards. Their yards per play wasn't terrible. It was just kind of a fluky, unlucky day for the Browns scoring points against a team they probably could have been hanging with. I was happy. I love to see the Bengals win for future purposes. But, yeah, this game should have been closer. And if it's going to be the same situation where they're down to just Chase and some, if anyone comes back and they're not 100%, it's kind of an under game, isn't it? Even with the beat up Tampa secondary, it's a bit of an under game because they can stop the run. You're not going to see that good of performance from Joe Mixon, I don't think. So it's it's an okay Cincinnati defense against a discombobulated Tampa. Fucking just give me this under. Yeah. Like this should be 41.
Why is it gone from 42 up to a very heavily juiced 43? I don't get it. Why is it 44 at the books? It's confusing. Does that ever, you have 90% of the cash on the under and it keeps going up?
But how much money is that?
Yeah, it's not much. Sample size very small here on
that's the thing too. Like sometimes with the the early week money, it's like 90% of bupkis. So I'm maybe a small correction to where it should have started at 44, but I'm fine taking this under.
All right. Well, let's lock you in on this under 44. We can get you that minus 105 at our friends at 5 times. Low vig minus 105. Under 44 minus 105 for Andy. And
yeah, I think Mike Evans is Team Giselle. That guy there's no connection there anymore. I don't know what happened to those two.
Yeah, it's strange. It's very strange. I think maybe he's always been dealing with injuries every year, and maybe they're starting to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that the Bengals do we know that Higgins and Boyd are going to be out? I'm sure Higgins is more likely to be out than Boyd. They're going to try to get him good to go.
I think Boyd may play, but I'm saying Higgins out, Boyd 50-50.
And then if let's say he's back, do you still think like Birdie thinking that the Buccaneers are live here? Because we're going to see everybody's going to be on the Bengals. Do you think that the Buccaneers are live? Like if you had a free bet on the side at 3.5 right now, who would it be on?
It'd still probably be the Bengals.
There was a lot of
everybody being on one side doesn't make one team play harder.
No, you're right. There was a lot of sharps on the Browns last week, and
it was probably the right side. They shouldn't have lost by more than 3.
All right. Well, let's move on here. Interesting. We have a move from Andy though. The under 44 at minus 105.